I thought that I would create one of my favorite all-time recipes. Now I'm going to be moving fairly quickly, so unless you're a professional chef, you may want to occasionally pause the video so you can keep up. What do we need? Well, we need some bread, we need mayonnaise, we need cheese, and we need good old-fashioned tuna. 2 pieces of bread. Put them out on the plate, open up the mayonnaise. I love mayo. I know my kids hate mayo, but make sure you get plenty on both sides. You gotta make sure you distribute this evenly across the bread in a way that's even and appropriate. Next, your favorite cheese. For me, medium cheddar, and I'm a 2-slice man. You need a heating device. I'm going with the MVP 5, and one of my old favorites, usually about 30 seconds. You can whip up this favorite in virtually no time.
I don't think I've ever wanted a video to turn out to be a deep fake more, but I think that was from 2020. That was Democratic Senator Mark Warner. I had missed it in 2020. Get off my back. I was busy. There was a lot going on. But I guess that's one way to communicate with the voters. I'm hoping it's satire, if not a deep fake. Do you remember that?
No, but I do remember the era where everybody was cooking on Instagram and etc. And like the first time AOC did it, it was fun, it was interesting. And then everybody's like, oh, I'll copy that. So wait till you see what we're about to tell you. They think that that might be their next grand strategy. Oh my God, please stop. And same thing we all felt as he was putting that mayo on the bread. Please stop. And I say that, and as you can tell from a guy who likes mayo, okay? Okay, but bounds of reason, brother. But wait till you get a load of their strategy.
Yeah, that is really something. But maybe it's the way forward. Hashtag 2-slice party. But anyway, apparently they're talking about different strategies, how to communicate, what language to use, how to use social media, and that I guess is one of the good ones. But so they're trying to figure out their message, and of course Donald Trump was all over the place, every podcast, every Twitch show. He was on TikTok, he was on Joe Rogan and all that stuff. And so they're trying to figure out the strategy, and they're only in the early days because evidently they haven't been thinking about it in an ongoing fashion, which seems like a dereliction of duty, but they've landed on, we should talk about the economy. And I think that's a good idea, actually. Weird that you've only thought of it now, but that's what they're working on. Representative Emanuel Cleaver of Missouri said people are sitting around in circles quietly talking about what the strategy ought to be. Are there changes that we need to make? Do we hold Trump accountable on everything that we don't like that he does, or should we be more selective? And okay, so CNN apparently has a scoop on this private Senate Democrat luncheon from last week. No word on if they had tuna melts there. But anyway, Democrats apparently scoured examples of how conspiracy theories, like one about Haitian immigrants eating pets in Springfield, Ohio, spread rapidly in conservative media, and how Democrats needed to try to harness their own tools to get their messages out better. And so one of the examples they said that they liked, a bright spot, was that video of Senator Mark Warner working on that tuna melt, he called it, I guess. Anyway, senators talked about the need to repost each other's social media posts to try and organically get their message out, but they also argued they can't abandon traditional media altogether. Well, sure. I mean, Trump went on Fox News and all that stuff, and I don't know. Like, I want them to have these conversations. I would, though, like them to be at a more advanced phase than maybe we should retweet each other. I feel like Twitter's been around for a while. I feel like you should have something more. But anyway, they also were asked about, well, he's going on like right-wing entertainment infrastructure. What about the left-wing infrastructure? And apparently they weren't familiar with it. Senator Cory Booker said it doesn't exist, which, ouch, first of all, buddy. But but anyway,
I'm gonna explain that one.
Hey, Cenk, you don't exist.
Well, some do wish.
This is why they lost. Okay, I'm about to leap out of my skin. I'm sorry, I am losing it, and I know everybody in the studio can see me rocking in my seat. This is why they lost, America. And first of all, that is no way. Absolutely no way to make a tuna melt. Okay, listen, that's the most important lesson here. Do not nuke Do not put mayonnaise in the microwave. Lord have mercy on my soul. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. That's my major concern. But no, this is why they lost. This is why they lost. So they think going on TV and having a better message. No, how about you deliver for the American people when you control the House, the Senate, and the presidency? How about increasing the federal minimum wage? How about in those swing states, this presidential election cycle of 2024, that the overwhelming majority of folks in those swing states wanted Medicare for all? How about that? How about you run on some stuff and deliver some stuff? That's how you win. But you want to compete with Donald J. Trump on his own turf in terms of media? This is insane as hell, and that is why we got Donald Trump 2.0. These folks don't know what they're doing. They just do not know what they're doing. They need to go. We don't need any of them. You talk about getting rid of the consultants that consulted, how they just took $1 billion and just put it in the front yard and set it on fire. All of these folks need to go.
Yeah, so I've got a lot of thoughts on this. First, they looked into online media, and now we see how this is such a great story because you see how antiquated they are. They're fossils. They have no earthly idea what's happening in the real world. How many times did I tell you on this show? They live in a bubble, this little cocoon in Washington, and that cocoon has nothing to do with the rest of the world, and they don't know it. And you could tell from that because they're earnestly having a conversation. Well, we've investigated online media and we found out there are no left-wingers online, and they love tuna melts, okay? And if you just go on Instagram or the TikTok or the Talkie Tick or whatever that thing that Israel wants to ban, and then you just pour on the mayonnaise, the Americans love that. And that makes you relatable. And then it turns out we should retweet each other. 2010 called and would like its clue back. Isn't that amazing? And they're asking Cory Booker because the 70 and 80-year-old senators have no freaking idea. They don't even know what the internet is, right? And Cory is now, I mean, I'm in my 50s. I don't know if he's in his 60s yet, but he's like, it's okay, I've investigated this.
I have it on good authority.
Yeah, okay. Now, guys, but there's things you might not know. And so it gets, with the Democratic establishment, it always gets worse, right? Kamala's ad strategy was to go on online media. A lot of people don't know this, but to buy only right-wing shows, ads on right-wing shows. They're never going to vote for you. And you just gave them more money and more power. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Well, how many millions did she spend advertising on TYT?
0. And you know why? Because they criticized me. How dare they? Plus, they don't exist. Well, if you're just freaking clueless, I mean, look, guys, did we have a lot of undecided voters because of what they did in Gaza, et cetera, et cetera? Yes, we did. Those are the exact voters they needed to reach. I don't need you to advertise, but I need you to have a brain and try to figure out how to get to those people to vote for you. That is politics 101. 101. They're like, we got it. We just give money to Tim Pool and we'll get more votes. Oh, you morons, you morons. So look, I don't know if they gave it to Tim specifically, but I know for a fact that they advertised just on right-wing shows. That is unbelievably stupid. So, okay, I'm not done yet. So when he says there's none on our side, that actually gets to the core of the issue because he's actually half right. So since we won't do what they're used to, which is traditional media, hey, CNN, MSNBC, and New York Times and Washington Post are on our side. And by our, I don't mean the Democratic side, I mean the establishment side, okay? Since those guys will kiss our ass from here till the cows come home. And I know, because when I was a host on MSNBC, not only when I criticized Democrats would I get a talking to, but when I criticized a former Republican, I got a talking to, okay? So no, establishment must be protected. Access. Oh, come on here, 80-year-old senator. Oh, tell us how young you are. And that's what they're used to. So when he says there isn't left-wing media online, what he means is those guys won't kiss our ass. So obviously we would never go on their show. We'll only go on shows that tell everybody how we're the greatest thing on earth. Oh, you won't do that? Well, then you don't exist. But even that's wrong, because have you not looked at anything online? Look, I'll throw out a name. There are many, many, many names, but I'll throw out one because everyone knows this and I think he knows it. Harry Sisson, right? So that kid will kiss any ass you got if you're an establishment Democrat. He'll kiss it on the left side, he'll kiss it on the right side. So you could use him, and by the way, some Democrats did. But the senators are like, oh, what is a Sisson? And how does it work? Like, God, Jesus Christ. And finally, the best point is Nina's, as usual. Since they know they won't do policy to help us, then they had to rely on media to do marketing as if they did the policy. But now that the establishment media's legs have been knocked out, they're lost. They're like, without our propaganda, what do we do? I don't know, how about you fight for popular proposals that are already on your side? Okay, here, Mark Warner, Cory Booker, all the Democratic senators. I'll clue you in to the most obvious thing in the world, but you morons still won't do it, not just because you're stupid, which you are, but also because you're corrupt. Paid family leave. It polls at 84%. It polls at 74% among Republican voters. If you can't fight for that, I can get that passed in the Trump era, but you morons couldn't get it passed in the Biden era or the Obama era, etc. I mean, I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt. I actually think you're craven and corrupt. But if you're not corrupt, then you're the world's worst politicians. But I'm sure the tuna melt will fix it.
100%. Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah, I'm just gonna end by saying, I know that it's mostly posturing, but they suffered this terrible defeat, and now what are they saying when they go in the media? Like I see, like Schumer was saying, and you see others like that. We should be concerned about the rise of the oligarchy, which we should. We 100% should. But they're saying that. They're like all of a sudden, the word was invented, I think 2 weeks ago. Nobody's ever talked about it before. Now they're worried about it. And also, what if we had a dynamic communicator that knew how to like talk to everybody on social media, but particularly young people? Like you did. Like it would be one thing if the Democrats were just cursed, that they never had any of this. But they did, and they shut it down. They shut down Bernie 8 years ago. They shut down AOC, it's about 6 years ago at this point. They've had all of that. They could have been using it, but Nancy Pelosi, who obviously is a much smarter person than me because she's very wealthy, was like, no, get to the back of the line. Shut up, AOC, and the rest of you that are popular amongst the youngs. What's this green new dream of yours? And Bernie Sanders with his oligarchy and all that. So boring, nobody cares about that. Oops. They were both right. They've been right for years. And okay, fine, you shut them down in the past. That doesn't bother me nearly as much as the fact that you're still gonna. You know that you're still going to. You're not gonna suddenly turn to AOC because you desperately need to save not only our, but your asses. They definitely are still gonna do the exact same thing.
That's because they're owned by the donors, the donor owners, as Nina puts it.
Donors, that's it, Cenk, that's it.
Yeah, and so they're gonna go and say to their donor owners, do I have permission to pass a super popular bill? And the owners will say, no, shut up and make me a tuna melt sandwich. Mark Warner's like, okay, yes sir, I'm gonna get all the mayo on there for you. Is it good enough? Did I put enough mayo on there? Okay, bunch of losers. Okay, guys, none of this matters. The only thing that matters is winning the Democratic primary in 2028. Okay, these guys are never gonna turn around. They're not gonna become angels overnight. They're not gonna reject the donor money overnight. They're not gonna stop being corporate goons, not only overnight, ever, right? Our answer isn't to convince Mark Warner to be a decent human being. Our answer is to defeat them in the Democratic primary in 2028. If you don't do that, it's a guaranteed loss to the Republicans. So up to you guys. You can keep going, oh no, Democratic leadership they're demigods. They're so smart. We can't figure out their four-dimensional chess. It's so amazing. Joe Biden is young, he's 35. Joe Biden is 35, he is young and dynamic, and you should trust us. We know exactly what we're doing. You make the mistake of trusting them again, then they'll come crying and say, oh my God, can you believe a Republican won? Yeah, that's only what we've been telling you for 8 straight years. It's not just that Bernie's policies are better. It's that they would win because they're popular and your stupid corporate policies are unpopular. But go ahead, run another campaign where Kamala Harris goes, I have a letter, 90 CEOs are on my side. Corporate CEOs love me, and so does Dick Cheney. Dick and Liz Cheney love me. I love war and corporations. I lost? Oh, God damn it, somebody make me a sandwich.
You got back to the sandwich at the end.
On it. I mean, Senator, I was with him both of his campaign cycles. We know how popular it was in all parts of this country. And then thanks to the neoliberals that crushed, especially in 2020 when he made history by winning Iowa. Yes, Lil Petey, he won Iowa. New Hampshire, and Nevada. At the, nothing like that had been done in a Democratic primary. And we had people like Congresswoman Cori Bush who slept out, as we all remember, so that the Biden administration would extend the housing stuff, so that people wouldn't be out on the streets during the time of COVID. So we had those kinds of leaders, and leaders who didn't turn back. I mean, we got some folks who turned back, who stood up there on that DNC stage and said, oh, they're fighting so hard. And we know that was not the truth. That's even on the progressive side. Progressives got to stop caving and go there to do what they were designed to do. If they want to be neoliberal light, then they might as well go ahead and be neoliberal light. Other than that, we need a real Congressional Progressive Caucus, and we also need a real Black caucus that is going to stand up for downtrodden people and honor why the Congressional Black Caucus was created in the first place. I'm very upset and annoyed about that, because they're not doing what they were commissioned to do. If they were doing that, again, we wouldn't be in this situation. If those two caucuses had stood up, we would not be in this situation. But here we are making tuna sandwiches with lots of mayo.
Yep. Thanks for watching the Young Turks. We really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.